what does completing PBP mean to you?
Yeah, we all have sort of identities, right? Like, I'm a father, I'm an engineer, and I'm certainly, cycling is part of my identity. I
Yeah.
sort of identify as a cyclist. And, PVP is sort of a big part of cycling history. It's I guess at this point, the longest continuously run, timed event, right? First a race, now it's sort of this amateur, around the nerve event. And so when you complete that, you sort of feel like you're part of this larger mission. And I mean, I find that very, satisfying. And yeah, just a nice feeling to be part of that larger family. And then, of course, there's also just the athletic challenge. I think completing it, no matter what you finish in time, I think is just an achievement.
To me, first off, that was my introduction really to randonneuring. Like, I mean, I did the series to qualify and all of this, but it was truly the first big event that I'd done. And I think it was just like 2 years of preparation, all culminating in this one epic finish. And to put that in words, like I just burst into tears. Like the second I crossed the finish line, it was just all this emotion. And I think it just meant that you can push yourself to do really tough things, even if you're over 40, even if you're a female, even if like you've never ridden competitively or did long distance riding before. Like I think it just meant that you can really do some pretty amazing things that you don't expect to be able to do like 2 years ago. If you told me I'd bike 1,200 kilometers in 78 hours, I was like, yeah, okay.
I was asked this question just as I finished 2015, my first PBP. A friend of mine was tracking me on the web and texted me and said, summarize PBP in 3 words.
Wow.
And I thought about it. I said, an act of devotion. And I think I would edit that now to say simply pilgrimage, because I felt like at the end I just completed this pilgrimage. Kind of cycling has always been important to me. It was kind of a way of participating in something much larger than myself, but very much aligned with my interests. And I really felt like I just completed a pilgrimage.
So true. I'm going to confront you with your own writing here, Eric, okay? Because you wrote this after your third PBP, and I really, for me at least, it really captures the essence and why I go back to PBP. Now that I've done 3 PBPs, I've come to realize that PBP is so much more than an athletic challenge. It is a very special cultural event. The preparation, the qualifying, all the sacrifices are just the cost of entry into a unique cultural experience. The ride is the backdrop. The people and the places are the centerpiece. What does completing PBP mean to you?
Well, to tell you the truth, that it's my least favorite part of the event, um,
Okay.
and that's not been the case with other cycling events. You're always trying to get to the finish line,
Yep.
and probably in my first one, I did want to get to the finish line, but since that time, I want the event to continue. Um, I really enjoy being in the moment of PBP when all that stress from the planning melts away. You push that first pedal stroke down, and you're not thinking about work on Monday or some emails that you have to answer.
Yeah.
That you're just in the moment, and the finish means that that's over.
Okay.
So you relive it, you tell stories, you celebrate with your friends, but I really don't want to get to the finish.
That's good. It's a different philosophy. I like it. So you're actually sad at the end. Okay, I like that. Okay.
Yes.
You're crying for the wrong reason. Okay, good.
Well, you've done it, so I think you have some idea. It's hard to explain to people, but participating in PvP's always been for me kind of a joyful experience. You got all these like-minded cyclists from around the world, different cycling cultures, different countries, different walks of life, but together for kind of a common purpose, which is pretty special. And the kind of the history of the event, you've got more than a century of Brest Paris, and you've got the support and participation of all the people around. So I think the whole experience is kind of pretty cool. And then finishing is really special. I mean, for me, it's always been kind of pure elation at the finish, from 10, 20K out all the way into crossing the finish line. It's just super happy. I mean, because you've gotten through all of the challenges and you've kind of become part of the history and experience, and it's all just great. And I don't think I really knew back in '99 when I first did it how important randonneuring would become to me, as your introduction suggested. But I knew that it was a really great feeling. It just felt so good to be at the finish. I'd gone there with some friends. We finished together, and it was just great. And then just talking about it that day, that afternoon, that evening, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next couple of years, just kind of keeps it alive. So for me, it's just a lot of joy.
Probably means the same now as it did at the first time. I just like the idea of the adventure and setting out from Paris and going to the coast, back to the Atlantic and back. Everyone's on their own little journey, and it's chance of achievement at the end. And I like the preparation as well. Getting ready and all. And that kind of knocking off the distances, the qualifiers, like preparation and all, and obviously the ambience of the whole thing and meeting a lot of like-minded cyclists.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, PBP for me, it's a management process. Okay, people sometimes wonder why I say this. I say this lots of time, which is for me, it's managing a project. It's kind of like breaking the elephant into slices. Okay, and being able to complete. I never think of PBP as as 1,200 kilometers. Okay. I always think of it as small slices of a big pizza. Okay, and that is probably why sometimes I wonder, and people ask me, "What was your global experience on PBP?" And I tend to have only small slices. I don't have the global experience. Okay, I always and that's been my approach to PBP since the first one to this one, since 2011 until 2023.
For me, I think it means that you're leaving a piece of yourself on historic roads, on a historic event. You're part of that. You're part of this event that dates back to 1891 or something. And you get to say that, you get to be part of that. And I think it also means that you were able to have not only the planning come together, but the actual execution of the event come together. And I think for Ed and me, that's very exciting.
Nice. And that was a great answer. Do you think you can beat that one?
Well,
what does that mean to you?
That's mostly my answer in better words. I just say I feel a very deep sense of satisfaction and meaning as a randonneur to complete PBP, being the original 1200K, and I really appreciate feeling like I honored the French people who support and stage the ride, and the tradition of the ride itself of getting to the finish line one way or another, despite rain, cold, sleep deprivation, and other things that might happen. So there's a big part of me that's completely relieved that that it's all come together. We made it. We made it. But it's really a long-lasting satisfaction that I honored the event.